He is a U.S. counterterrorism expert who originally served in the Ukrainian Foreign Legion and is the New York Times bestselling author of They Want to Kill Americans, Malcolm Nance. Hello, my friends. How you doing? Did I put that smile on your face? Oh, good. I love to make you laugh. How are you doing?
Tired.
Of me? No. Yeah, well, you were in Ukraine. That's got to be tiring.
It is. It's very tiring, but refreshing in a way.
Yeah, I would not find it the same way, but, you know, I'm not as brave as you.
Well, it's not too often that you get to, defend democracy straight in its face.
Oh, look, you impress me all the time, but going to, as you did, when did you get back? November? How long?
November.
How long were you there for?
About 10 months.
10 months.
Yeah.
And you were just with the regular troops there? I mean, what do you, how does it work? How do you apply? Is there a direct flight? I have so many questions about the mechanics of how this works.
Well, there is a force there called the International Legion for the Territorial Defense of Ukraine, or an element of the Ukrainian army. These are not guys who just run over there and do that. You have to join the Ukrainian army. So I was a private, essentially, in the Ukrainian army for 10 months. And they bring you in. I was a little bit special, right? A little bit funny because of my media background and my intelligence background. So I worked for their version of the CIA, which is Defense Intelligence Directorate.
Imagine you're also older than a lot of the other recruits. Yeah. and darker. Yeah. How many black guys go to Ukraine to fight? I mean,
6. And I know them all.
So you're on the front lines?
Yeah, yeah.
And you're shooting at the bad guys?
Yeah, and there's a lot more than just shooting at the bad guys. First off, you're right. I was age 60 when I passed the commando course that I went through. And
well,
what's even funnier is that I knew that to get past artillery, I had to beat that 36-year-old former Marine that was with me. But when you go there, there are a lot of different components to your job. My first job was doing intelligence work. Then my second job was an infantry intelligence officer on the front line. And then my third job was a special operations operator.
Well, Tucker Carlson also is fighting the war. He's fighting it from his studio and on the wrong side. So you're not the only pundit. What do you make of that Fox News is on the side of Russia in this one?
Well, it's absolutely fascinating because we watched Russian state TV almost incessantly to try to gain information and glean information. I was on Russian state TV 3 times. Well, that's not true. 1 month I was on every day for 2 weeks as the face of the NATO, what they called the NATO officer invasion. And you could tell they were NATO officers, according to them, because they were black and they spoke English and they were on the battlefront and they were trying to use it to say that NATO was fighting the war and the Ukrainians weren't there at all, which was laughable, right? Because that's what happens when you get your ass kicked. You lie. But the one constant they had was Tucker Carlson. They would bring his segment on all the time. They even made a joke on one of the shows, Vladimir Solovyov's show, where he said, well, we should get rid of most Americans, except Tucker Carlson. That's a quote from Russian state television.
So how is this going to end? I see that the new offensive going on there, and they've probably lost 200,000, Russia's probably lost 200,000 men already. A lot of wars end because the countries just run out of men.
Yeah.
They die in the war, and then there's nobody left to fight, and they have to sue for peace. Is that how you see this is coming to an end?
Well, not versus manpower with the Russians, all right? I took part in the largest counteroffensive and the largest defeat of Russia since 1944. That's the Kharkiv offensive. We liberated over 300 villages and 6 cities, and we beat their ass in 72 hours. All right? Now, that being said, the reason that we beat them was not just because of the weapons that NATO gives us. The Ukrainians have something, and I said this on MSNBC before I left media. I said, these people have heart. These people, they don't want to fight. They're not here to kill, as the old saying goes. They don't have the hatred of the man in front of them. They have the love for the women, children, and elderly that are behind them. They are fighting for their existence. And that's why I joined them.